I said this video was gonna come out soon, but I kinda lied about that. But at least it's going to come out before Three Houses gets released. So let's build on that Three Houses hype, and I'll finally give you my top 10 units in Fire Emblem Heroes for Book 2. Now, Book 2, the top 10 was a lot harder to choose compared to Book 1 just because I didn't summon as much in Book 2. I was really only pulling for things I wanted or really needed. And also, it had a lot more alts, which kind of led to less original characters that I would want. So I didn't summon as much in Book 2, but I still have my top 10 to give you. Of course, said this in the first one, but just to reiterate, my opinion, units I find useful, units I like, from the stats to the art to just I'm having attachment to the characters from other games. Anything like that is just personal opinion. So without any further ado, let's get into it with my number 10 unit for Book 2.
Do you find this outfit odd? I'm not surprised.
My favorite character threw on some maid gear, got a hold of some juice, and became an armored unit. And at that, she's a ranged armored unit, which is still, even to this day into Book 3, not a very common unit type, so she's definitely got her uses in certain situations. I happened to pull mine with neutral IVs. I kept getting minus attacks, and then that's just how it happens when I try to pull Kagero. I get trash IVs when it's something I really want to have, but that's how it goes, you know, the gacha life struggle. But I didn't want to go for a full investment. I just wasn't quite sure what to give her, so I settled for just an offensive nuke build, give her Death Blow 3, even attack wave, quicken pulse, you know, nothing crazy. And since she does have such high attack, she got 38 base attack, which is tied at the moment for highest ranged attack in the game, coming from an armor unit, so she's definitely got good defenses. Not crazy, 32 and 33, but it's nothing to scoff at. And she doesn't need speed at all because she's got Bold Fighter, so she's gonna have follow-up attacks when she attacks. Bottle Juice is good, nothing crazy there, but if I could switch it, if I happen to pull another Summer Lindy, just because I don't want to part ways with the one I already have, I would give her the Starfish weapon because Desperation on an armored unit sounds super dangerous. Back-to-back follow-up attacks. You could build her Close Counter if you wanted to, but I'm kind of on the fence about Close Counter. I'd rather just have the upfront damage with Death Blow 3. So that is my number 10 unit, Halloween Kagero.
Weapons do not think, they act. That is what I was taught.
Why are you spending time with filth like me?
Originally, I had these two in definite places of 9th and 8th, but over time and procrastinating on this video, they've kind of meshed into swapping spots. It doesn't really matter. So we got Levitain and Hellbindy. First, we'll go with Levitain. Following off the back of Kagero, super offensive nuke. I ended up getting plus attack IV on mine and getting her up to plus 3 because I couldn't for the life of me pull a single leg yarn on this banner. I don't know why, it just wouldn't happen. She didn't want to come home. But with that said, 63 attack is no joke. And if you surround her with the buffs she needs, she's easily doing 80 damage against almost all green units. Red units aren't safe, some blue units aren't even safe. I really enjoy using her just because she's just so strong, but she does take a little bit of setup to use. She does need the proper buffs, and just because of that, she's not as high on my list as I originally had thought she would be. But it kind of came down to having to get those bonus buffs converted to damage. It's fun, she does super work when it works out well, but it just takes a little extra steps to get it to work to its full potential. And sometimes Fire Emblem Heroes, it's a quick game. It only takes probably like 3 turns max sometimes to finish a map. So I don't always have the time for that. In the future though, I could definitely give her Fury 4, Odd Attack Wave, or maybe Death Blow 4 that I got sitting in the back, and a Special Spiral I got sitting in the back. But I'm okay with either build. I'm okay with the one she's got right now. But let's move over to the counterpart, Hellbindy. And the reason I kind of have these two connected is because for me, Hellbindy is heavily related to Levitain, not just story-wise, but because I use them often on the same team. His weapon, the Bilister, synergizes with her really well because she needs the buffs or it can just work with anyone. Everyone needs buffs. Or if no one else is around, he can use it on himself. He says, I'm gonna be greedy, use these buffs on my own. Originally, I didn't have a lot of fodder to give him when I first pulled him, so I kind of just went with his base skills and went with close defense. I saw him as not really, he does have some good attack, but I don't often build many defensively focused based units. And since I had a plus res, unfortunately minus defense, went with Iceberg, close defense, guard 3, infantry pulse. Nothing crazy there. I essentially just wanted to turn him into a wall. Give him close defense, guard, no specials getting procced on him. I feel like if I feel like using some fodder on him, I could give him steady breath or distant counter, but I don't know if I like you Hellbindy, but certain units I'm like, you ain't getting distant counter. He might, he's on the cusp. But that's Levite and Hellbindy, great duo together, definitely deserve a spot in my top 10.
This outfit is just for the festival. Don't get any weird ideas.
Bridal Sanaki brings in the beginning of the Book 2 Flying Mages on this list. Originally, wasn't a big fan of her. It's a little girl in a bride dress. Everyone was freaking out about it. I was like, make her a flower girl. Don't think about it weird. But I pulled Sanaki, the original one. She was one of my first 5-star pulls that I ever got. So I was kind of, I had some soft spot nostalgia for her. So I was like, I guess I'll keep her. I didn't really pull anything crazy, just plus res, minus HP. I guess it's okay. And then I realized that her weapon or blade tome on the flyer team, she gonna hit like a truck. Her job is pretty much the same as her Book 1 counterpart. You gotta get the KO in one hit because you're not outspeeding anyone with that 30 base speed. You can maybe squeeze in some doubles, get in the flyer buffs on her, but overall she's gonna be too slow to double really anyone, so she's gotta hit like a truck. So that's why I'm not really sure if I want to go with the Grand Blade because extra damage with the bonuses, or the Frost Flowers because that also tends to work with her kit really well. I just wish she came with a more offensive link skill instead of defense res link because, that doesn't really do anything for her. I guess if I need her, she can tank a blue mage with that 36 res, but other than that, she doesn't really need defense res link at all. If possible in the future for future-proofing Sanak, I could give her Deathblow 4, maybe chill res to let her hit even harder, and maybe hone flyers, but all of this is not probably going to happen unless I get a plus attack one, which probably won't happen because I do not believe in legendary banners because they are cursed and they don't work. PSA. Now after Bridal Sanak, we're going over to another duo, so we're doing number 6 and number 5.
It turns out flying on a Pegasus is a little scary. Shall we drown them?
These two are kinda interchangeable for me. They both essentially do the same job, so that's why I put them so close to each other. First, we're gonna go with Flying Nino. Flying Nino, second range flyer on this list, and she's essentially just better Bridal Sanak. She got barely less attack, but so much more speed that leads to infinitely more doubles. I greatly appreciate that she comes with a straight out the box perfect kit, don't need to do anything about it. Giga Excalibur, perfect weapon. With her having 38 base speed, there's not really a lot of units that have a higher speed than her, especially when she's getting flyer buffs. So she's usually going to be proccing 70% bonus damage because of this. She's a solid unit on my Fire Emblem team, firmly planted, not going anywhere, very simple to use. She sees blue enemy unit, green enemy unit, oftentimes maybe even red enemy unit. She gonna obliterate them. Nino learned how to fly and kill everything. Moving on, very similar to Nino, we got Summer Camilla. Now I'm doing Summer Camilla last after Nino because art. What do you want me to say? Summer Camilla, pretty much like the original Camilla on my Book 1 list, she wasn't a huge priority for me. When I got her, I was like, oh, that's cool. Plus defense minus res, nothing's wrong with that. She's not supposed to be getting hit anyway with those defenses. And it was between her and Summer Corrin to earn the spot on my Fire Emblem team. Because originally my Summer Corrin had some doo-doo butter IVs, but that update hit which got rid of the Bane when she's merged, so they both were on even playing ground. But Camilla just nudged her out, and so she stays on my team with the Blar Blade. Camilla's got a little less speed than the Nino before her, but thanks to Blar Blade, she's going to be doing a whole lot of damage when she's surrounded by buffs, and she's a flyer unit. They're usually always surrounded by buffs, unless they're trying to go out be a hero. She requires a little more setup because of the buffs and the Blar Blade, but she still nukes units. It's easier to position flying units, so it's not as much as a demerit like it was for Levitain earlier on the list, just because terrain doesn't matter to them. And for both of these two units, Camilla and Nino, definitely won't change anything for their skill sets at the moment. I mean, I ran the numbers and Fury 3 was the best for mine. I could use a Swift Sparrow on her, I guess, especially with Guardian Blow 3 Sacred Seal that's out. But I would like a plus attack or plus speed Camilla. That would be a very warm welcome gift. But enough of the flying units. Let's transition over to number 4.
Only one can wield the sword. That is the law of our clan.
I gotta get this off my chest. I'm sorry to my girl Fur. Bartray, I'm kinda sorry, I don't really care about you. Sorry, my boy, Carl. Yeah, that's how I say his name, Carl. I know that's not how it goes. But I definitely disrespected Carla until I was making this list. I was always wanted her just because of the relation to Fur and Carl. I like them. I never played their games. I just saw their art. I was like, I like them, and they cool. So I was excited for her to be added, and I knew she was going to be a good unit. When she came out on the trailer, I said she's going to have more speed than Ira, and I was big right. And I knew she was great, but I just didn't use her that often. And then when I used her, when I was trying to figure out who's going to be on my top 10 for this list, I realized I was super missing out on one of the best units in the game, especially because I don't have the Ira that I mentioned earlier. Please come home, I just want one for the collection at this point. Her weapon, Vassal's Blade, is essentially the same as Nino's Giga Excalibur before, but grants the -1 cooldown instead of the +3 speed that Nino's weapon gives her. So the -1 cooldown, and if she gets the double, she's guaranteed 2 turn special procs. And then you throw in Wrath, that just makes it even easier for the proc specials do damage, or maybe re-heal herself if you give her Aether or something like that, if you got a really high merged one. I'm more of a fan of offensive abilities, so I wouldn't really ever feel like giving her distant counter. I mean, I could, but her defenses aren't crazy enough for me. Maybe if I had a highly or medium merged one, I would. But I did happen to pull a second Carla that is plus attack. I'm just currently lacking in Fury fodder, and I don't want to merge them because one, I got sentimental to my original one. That's just something stupid that I have. And because Wrath is important, and even Speed Wave is important. So that's valuable fodder that certain units I'm hoping that will come out in classes that can use them, unlike Pan, who couldn't use Wrath, can get the skills that I'm waiting for. But Carla, super duper good red infantry sword unit. Definitely think about building her if you have her. Don't sleep on her like I did. Don't be like me.
Don't treat me like a child. What do you want?
I can hear the thumbs downs already. I'm sorry. Brave Veronica's number 3 on my list. She is the bane of many people, or at least maybe she used to be, the bane of many people's AR lives, and she's just real good. What can I say? She's my first actually fully built offensive healer. I pulled an Elise super early into the game, and I can never for the life of me get any Wrathful Staff fodder. It just doesn't exist. Jenny, let me come into my barracks so I can kill you for Wrathful Staff. Please, don't be afraid. Just come on. I snagged her from the CYL Redeem and never regretted it. When she was the arena bonus when she came out, I was like, Oh my god. This little girl on this horse is an actual monster. She was killing everything in sight. It didn't matter. I was like, what is this? Is this that healer, wrathful staff power I've never gotten to experience in my life before? And then the bonus arena buffs ended, and I kind of forgot about her. I knew she was still like top tier unit, but I kind of fell out of love with Horse Emblem and got more into Fire Emblem and Armor Emblem and as the meta and stuff. Well, she is a meta defining unit, but Horse Emblem kind of died down a bit for me. And then I started making this list similar to Carla, where the magic of her talents was reawakened. She was slapping high tier armor units out of the way. She was hitting the Millie Rock on them, and she was just putting in crazy work. The Dazzling Staff built into her weapon, and Wrathful Staff as the B slot. I could finally see like the gears in my head turning, that people that had the Jennies and the Elises before, of like, she's crazy. You aren't gonna hit her back. She can pretty much shut down a lot of units. Brave Lynn, she kills her, and there's very little any enemy units can do against her. She's pretty much useful in all modes: Tempest Trials, Arena, Roker Sieges. She's always on my team just for a healer, just to heal up. I have 2 attackers and a healer, and someone that kind of goes around and hits the enemies. She's good in pretty much any mode that I can't think of at the right now, but she's good for everything. There's nothing really that I would ever see needing to change for her build. She's really low investment. I think I just threw a 3 plus speed 3 onto her from a fur and called it a day. Brave Veronica, super solid unit. I would recommend when CYL 3 comes around, if you did not happen to get Veronica and they bring back the CYL 2 banner, try to get her if possible. If you're saving orbs, understandable, but if you don't have her and you need some sort of ranged horse attacker, she's definitely one to choose.
I'm 1,200 years old, roughly.
Halloween Myrrh is probably one of my most prized possessions. If people came to me and said, what are the units you would least like to part ways with? If you had to delete units, which ones are untouchable? Halloween Myrrh is on my list. And you'd say, oh, shouldn't all your top 10s be on there? Yes, but wasn't she number 1 then? Well, she's more untouchable than my number 1 unit. My number 1 unit is just very versatile. This unit, I got super lucky. The investment I've given her, I can't get rid of that. I pulled her plus attack. It was super early in the summons, maybe even a redeem. I can't remember. But originally I just wanted her because the art was super well done. I liked all the candy themes. Her attacking art is one of my favorites in the game. And I don't even have the original Myrrh. So I was like, I'll take this 100%, no doubt, no questions asked. But then I remembered, oh yeah, I got that distant counter fodder sitting in the back. And I said, oh yeah, I summoned that really, really bad, I think it was minus attack Brave Ephraim. Let me get that special fighter fodder. Frame 1, gave her both of those skills, slapped Quick Riposte Seal on her, and she's a force to be reckoned with on player phase or enemy phase. Her weapon grants +3 to defense and guarantee follow-up attacks if her defense is higher than the enemy's. Plus her weapon's got adaptive damage, so you know she's hitting either the lowest of the defense or the res of the enemy unit. Now coming off the bat, her defense is already tied 3rd at 40 base defense. Her weapon bumps it to 43, is tied for 1st, without factoring any boons or banes or buffs or anything. So right off the bat, she's gonna have usually 3 higher defense than a lot of units. So she's gonna always probably have the guaranteed follow-up attacks. Special fighter, great skill, messes with the enemy's special cooldown, so she's less likely to be hit by a special proc. Works super well, I discovered recently with Roker Sieges. If you can get the boss stuck in a corner or something and just plant her in front of her, she can just hit her repeatedly. They're not going to get her special off. They're not going to swap. They're not going to do that super massive damaging attack. Perfect unit, or really just special fighter in general, just perfect skill for that game mode specifically. The only thing I would change about my Myrrh is I would give her Aether just to provide her with some sustainability, like in mode like Tempest Trials, just because I'm an auto battler. I hate to admit it. If I can, I auto battle, except for obviously Arena. But you know how auto battle works. Units do dumb things. So if she had Aether, it would just give me better chances of not having anyone die. So that is Halloween Myrrh, my number 2 unit. Great unit. Could not recommend more if you have the proper skills. Even you can use some lower tier skills and she's still going to turn out pretty damn well.
Meeting you was the beginning of the end for me.
I could hear you guys making thumbs downs earlier with Veronica. Now I can just hear you guys reporting the video. Without any surprise, my number 1 unit is Surtur. Oh, Teddy Creek, you're a tier whore. You like OP units. Last time you had Reinhardt, this time you got Surtur. I like strong units, what can I say? This man really doesn't need any introduction. He was the bane of everyone's existence upon release. I wasn't even trying to get him. I actually wanted Ilger. But I got him. I said, I will gladly accept you into my arms, Lord Surtur. His skills are great for any mode, whether it be Arena or Tempest Trials or Bound Hero Battles, Legendary Hero Battles, anything. He pretty much trivializes doing any mode in the game, and he's made my Stratum quest for army units so much easier. It's brainless. It takes no energy at all. Similar to Ryan in my book 1 heroes list, he was a meta-defining unit that people built dedicated counters for in Arena and on their Aether Raids team. IS even took him out of many PvE mode because he was just too strong. He was just ruining people's times. It just wasn't fun. His weapon Samara doing 20 damage to enemies within 2 spaces is just, I think it's gonna probably be broken as long as the game exists, unless enemies start getting like 80 HP, and even then it's still gonna be good. And even recently, IS released Idun, which is just a Surtur counter, so you know this man is strong. Yes, sometimes I gotta look out for a strong red unit, but realistically, I'm just gotta keep him 2 spaces away, and he's just gonna kill the enemy team. He don't even need to do anything. He just look at him, and he's just gonna stand there. Everyone better hope that this man does not ever get a seasonal alt, because you know that thing is going to be crazy busted just like how he is. Y'all dodged the bullet with the summer units. He didn't get any fun in the sun. But you better hope this man doesn't get like a Christmas alt. Jolly Surtur coming in your town to ruin the day. You don't want that. You don't even need to try to build this man either. You just give him what he has. It's easy. It's nothing crazy. So yeah, maybe it's a cop-out having Surtur as my number 1 unit in book 2. But what can I say? The man does his job better than anyone else in the game. So he definitely deserves a spot for number 1 on my list. Thank you guys for watching the video. I hope you enjoyed it. Let me know if you disagree or surprised by any of my units. I hope you're really hyped for Three Houses to come out. Recording this audio, actually, Three Houses units just got announced for Fire Emblem Heroes. I have to resist for pulling for Byleth because I think she's going to be busted. I can just tell by the skills. She's going to be fast and strong. I have to abstain. My orb hand must remain hidden. But enough for me, guys. Teddy Creek, I'm out. Have yourself a damn good one.